leading up to the game and talking to lots of yins and that up there in Pittsburgh. And what a game we've got on Sunday afternoon, in addition to the Terps being in town this week and live shows with C.J. Mosley. We're going to have Mike Wallace joining us next Tuesday at Adams Jeep in Aberdeen. And I'm watching the Caps and the Wizards in college football in the Quick Lane Bowl. But the big thing is Steelers-Ravens on Christmas Day. I'm headed up to Pittsburgh. My wife and I and our family, we've officially moved Christmas till Monday. We're almost Canadian, like Boxing Day. Chris Bradford's also doing the same thing, as he will be at the Confluence on Sunday, covering all things Steelers for the Beaver County Times. We welcome him back onto the program, one of our defending champions from the other side of the rivalry. Chris, first off, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff to you and everyone up there in Beaver County. And I would say this, for where you're from and from where we're from, Christmas Day in football, you know, it's not the most convenient thing, but I don't think it's hurting anybody's feelings either.
No, not at all. You know, a few weeks ago, I think a lot of people were looking at this game thinking, it might not matter so much. But obviously now it's come down to these two teams with a chance for a division title, and I can tell around Pittsburgh that a lot of people are excited for it.
Well, yeah, we had holiday football here on Thanksgiving a couple times, and it kind of messes with family plans and stuff, but if you can plan around it a little bit, as we've done, we just officially decided to cancel Christmas this week, because if the game didn't mean anything, we weren't going to shut down Christmas, but the game means the division, and I think from a football fan's perspective and from a family perspective or any other sort of perspective, when the schedule came out in April, doing what I do for a living, I was cheering for it to mean a whole lot, quite frankly, and it does.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about, parking attendants being forced to work and, the ticket takers and all those other people. Obviously I'm a sports writer, and, I saw that on the schedule. I knew I was going to work. So, unfortunately, I have a 5-year-old daughter, and I'm going to have to cut Christmas a little bit short, but I'll be at the stadium, hopefully probably leave around a little afternoon to get down there. But, as long as I have a few hours in the morning, I'll be all right. And I think that is the game plan for the Steelers. Mike Tomlin said he hasn't made any decision yet on what he's going to do with his players, but speaking to some, they said they expect Mike to let him out of the hotel maybe the night before and give him a few hours on Christmas morning to spend time with the family.
Well, I tell you what, not to be the purple Grinch climbing down the chimney, but, it breaks my heart that your 5-year-old daughter's going to have her feelings hurt on Christmas if the Steelers lose, for all the yins up there. But it could be the same thing on our side. I mean, someone's going to have their season wrecked on Christmas here. That's pretty Grinchy, isn't it? Terrell Suggs would love to play that role in Pittsburgh, though.
Yeah, if the Steelers get 10 wins and miss the playoffs, I think that would be something different for them. I don't think they've ever missed the playoffs with a 10-win season. But, unfortunately, they're kind of the victims of their own failures earlier in the season when they didn't put away teams like Miami and Philadelphia in games that they probably should have won. So now they're forced to play this game with their season potentially on the line.
Yeah, the Ravens could say the same thing about the Jets' loss and the Redskins game and the Giants game. I mean, both of these teams spent a month in October and in the Steelers' case in early part of November losing football games. I don't know that a loss to the Giants looks as bad at this point, and certainly for the Steelers to have lost to the Patriots and the Cowboys, they may be sitting around watching the game from Houston in 7 or 8 weeks, and those might be the two teams that wind up there, right?
Yeah, that'd certainly be interesting if that's how it shakes down. The game against the Cowboys, the Steelers thought they were in that game up until the end. It was really the last 2 minutes. Ezekiel Elliott breaks those 2 runs. That could have been a different game. The New England loss, that was the game they played with Landry Jones at quarterback because Ben Roethlisberger was coming off the knee injury. And the Steelers were actually into that game late into the second quarter, and there was opportunity for them to put that game away. But LeGarrette Blount had other ideas that he ran for about 130 yards on that defense that day. So if the Steelers aren't in Houston in February, they can look to some of those games like New England and Dallas and maybe this Sunday against Baltimore is the weather not there.
Yeah, LeGarrette Blount's gone, but they haven't missed a beat, obviously. They don't miss him at all. In the case of Le'Veon Bell, this is going to be a difference maker in the game. If the Ravens can't stop the run, there's no way they're going to win on Sunday.
No, the Steelers have seemed to have found their identity on the offensive side of the ball, and it's more of a power run game with Le'Veon Bell. He's been getting a lot of touches the past month or so, about 30 per game. Baltimore's really the only defense that has really done a great job of shutting him down. So if he has any struggles again on Sunday against the Ravens, the Steelers could be in real trouble. They haven't really been able to find a secondary receiver behind Antonio Brown. So the Steelers are banking a lot on this run game, and if it doesn't go well for them on Sunday, it's going to be dependent upon Le'Veon Bell and what he does.
No shockage that you would have a shortage of wide receivers with Martavis Bryant being gone for the year. Sammy Coates was supposed to be a bigger time player, and I know he's had some injury issues as well. I saw him at the Senior Bowl a couple years ago. He was a guy that I would have loved to have seen on the Ravens, and quite frankly, when I saw him get drafted by the Steelers, I thought one Sunday he's going to beat us, and I'm going to hate him for that. And sort of a likable kid with a lot of personality, hasn't been the kind of contributor there that I think they had hoped for, right?
No, he said that the two broken fingers on the one hand he suffered in the Jets game. I believe that was in early October. That was his best game as a pro, and everything leading up into that game, he was kind of building into possibly being almost a star player. Then he suffers that injury, and it's been pretty much downhill for him from then on. Last week he played 30 snaps. That's the most he's played since middle of October. He had just one reception last week against the Bengals. That was his first reception since October 23rd. So just to give you an idea of just how long of a dry spell it's been for Sammy Coates. But if the Steelers can get that deep threat possibly here late in the season, and they may need it against Baltimore, it doesn't look like the Steelers are going to have much success running against them. They're going to need a guy like Sammy Coates to stretch the field for them vertically.
Well, you don't run the ball better without talking about the offensive line, and certainly for both of these teams going into that first week of November, both teams had problems on the offensive line. The Ravens' problems were probably larger at the time in a state of flux. Yanda was just trying to get back on the field at that point. He's now made that move to the left side. On our side, it's better for sure. Our offensive line will be better, but I think the Steelers' offensive line is better as well.
Yeah, coming into the season, the Steelers were talking about that this was the best offensive line that they've possibly ever had in franchise history. And really, it just hasn't panned out that way. They've had a lot of moving parts with some injuries. They got the big piece back in Marquise Pouncey this year, but they've been missing Marcus Gilbert at times and Ramon Foster in different games. They've had to patch in some guys. It's only during this winning streak that they've had here over the past 5 weeks that you're starting to see this offensive line look like what the Steelers thought it would be. They've been together for a while now. All guys in their second contract, other than the left tackle, Alejandro Villanueva. But, it's a unit.
But he's got a TV commercial, so that counts as a second contract, yes.
Yes, USAA or one of those Navy Federal Credit Unions or something like that. But, they're
such an effective ad, you don't even know which one it's for.
Something with the military. He was in the Army. And
hey, I know. I saw it. I'm just saying. I mean, he's the famous one, right? He's the one that didn't wear the free Hernandez hat, right?
Yeah, go figure. The least known guy is actually the one who's most famous to get the commercial on that offensive line. But, yeah, it's a unit that's been together, and it seems like it's starting to come together for him.
The Steve Smith Mitchell thing, I can't get rid of you without talking about this one. The Suggs Big Ben thing, I have a picture of Suggs holding a Big Ben tombstone at one of our live shows a decade ago. I mean, I was a much younger man then. I can assure you that, Chris.
We all were.
Yeah, we all were. But this rivalry, Ray Lewis is gone, right? I mean, Jerome Bettis is gone. Hines Ward is gone. Palomalu's gone. Ed Reed's, they're all gone. John Ogden's gone. But this thing sort of lives on. And this Steve Smith-Mitchell thing, I know it began down in Carolina, but this is personal and kind of ugly, right?
Yeah, I was really kind of surprised to hear it kind of turned sour, I guess, the relationship, because I remember when Mike came in here to Pittsburgh coming from Carolina, we asked, about Steve Smith in Baltimore and, how he would fit into this rivalry. And he sounded like he was kind of on good terms with them, but I guess whatever happened, that hit last year with, I guess it was a hit to the back that Steve thought Mitchell hit him. It turns out I think it was Lawrence Timms who actually hit him, but, Steve Smith, he took it personally, and it's been a war of words since. I saw the Twitter post or whatever on social media about something about a carpenter and a cabinet, and I don't know exactly what all that means, but I do know that Steve Smith obviously doesn't care much for Mike Mitchell, and I don't think Mike really cares, and he's not a guy who's going to win many popularity contests anywhere in the NFL. But I'll say this for the Steelers and Ravens, coming after the last week against the Cincinnati Bengals, where that rivalry with the Steelers is just. It's more vicious. It's more a lot of cheap shots and stuff like that, and war of words. The thing with Baltimore now, I think, is it's almost a respect. The Steelers have a ton of respect for what John Harbaugh and that team has done down there. A lot of people I don't think saw the Ravens being in the division hunt this late in the season, and here they are. So I think they tip their hats to Baltimore, and they're kind of waiting for Sunday to get here.
We are chatting with Chris Bradford. He covers all things Steelers for the Beaver County Times. You can follow his journey out at timesonline.com as well as at BCT Bradford. That's Beaver County Times. Up there, recently I had S.L. Price on from Sports Illustrated, wrote a book about Aliquippa. And, it's not just a football book, but it's got a lot of football in it and politics and, where that part of the world is, and you live in that part of the world. Just some thoughts about football and the holiday, because I began the conversation with that, but it is one of those things where football is sort of almost treated as religion in your part of the world, and certainly with all of the Ditkas and the Namaths and all those famous names that come from your valley, right?
Yeah, it really is. Next to Christianity, football is the second religion in Beaver County. And that's just one corner of Western Pennsylvania. It's not that strange to have an NFL player, a Hall of Fame type player from any corner of this area. But in Beaver County alone, it's almost the mecca of football. It produced Joe Namath and Mike Ditka and Ty Law and Darrell Revis and Tony Dorsett, Paul Pazlet. I could go on, but they take their football very seriously. Friday nights in the fall are really a big deal. They draw thousands of people to the high school games. It's just a way that's kind of keeps the communities together. They're all very small communities, basically up along the Ohio River, former steel mill towns. A lot of those mill towns have seen hard times over the last 30 years or so. It just seems that football is the one thing that kind of ties everybody together up there.
Well, everyone's familiar with Aliquippa if you know football, right? I mean, that's
yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, and it's a small place, right? I mean, it would be not all that impressive if we drove in. It would just be another town on the Ohio River, right?
No, it's really it's really almost a sad story what's happened with Aliquippa. Last 30, 40 years haven't been rough to it. High crime area. You really wouldn't want to drive through it. It's a very small town. You wouldn't believe, I don't even know how many people live in there, but the downtown is pretty much completely boarded up. There's really not too much businesses that are going on there.
Population 9,317, by the way, according to Google.
Okay, there you go. I live in Hopewell Township, which produced Tony Dorsett, and that borders Aliquippa. And, it's, football and basketball, all athletics really in Aliquippa is really a big deal. There's always been talk about possibly closing the high school down because it's gotten so small. They play up in class in football, at least I know, just out of pride, really. They still manage to win for the WPIL title, which is the district title, almost every year. And it's really the pride of Aliquippa is the high school football team.
Good stuff, man. Chris, we will see you on Christmas Day. Bring me some cookies. Anything with butter works for me. And tell Mr. Rooney to save me a nice meal. And we're going to get together, play some football on Sunday. I can't say that I was excited about giving up Christmas for it, but I'm warming to the thoughts of being at Heinz Field and the roar of the crowd and the terrible towels coming out and the opportunity to once again vanquish the Steelers. It'll be a lot of fun. I must say this is a nice little treat for Christmas for me.
All right, Nestor. Well, take care.
Appreciate you, man. Great stuff. Chris Bradford joining us here from Beaver County, the Beaver County Times. You can follow his journey at timesonline.com as well as at BCT Bradford as we take a look at the Steelers and the Ravens all week long. Anything you miss, you can find in the Buy a Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere you are. The morning newspaper ships to your email inbox 7 a.m. each and every morning and brought to you by Planet Fitness at planetfitness.com, where it's still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life. And you're going to need it to work off the eggnog and those cookies I'm talking about. I'm sure there's going to be ham. There's going to be some prime beast, probably some pie. I mean, I didn't even get any pumpkin pie during Thanksgiving, so I got to probably make up for it this weekend as I'm up in Pittsburgh on Sunday. Full coverage all week long from the backfields in Owings Mills, including on Sunday afternoon, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram. We stream live on Facebook Live, as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.